Now, let's continue on after we spoke about the Ein of mezuzah, how we saw for hundreds of years, Klal Yisrael didn't have mezuzahs on the door of their house, on different rooms of the house, and the times of being Tam and his father, until till later, until after the Ramah, until quite a tkufa after the Ramah, and the Ramah writes that in the minig was that no one put on mezuzahs in the houses, only in the front door, and none of the Gedolim were masking to this in Haggis, B'derech Klal. And now we'll continue on to Tefillin. Tefillin is the Dava Pella Ma'id, how we find that for hundreds of years, Klal Yisrael kamat didn't wear Tefillin. And let's go right into it. In the Sefer Iter, Hilchas Tefillin brings down from Behinei Hai Goyin. The topic what the many Goyinim they spoke about was the topic of Poisha Yisrael Begufa. Chazal say the very Devarim Chamurim of those that don't wear tefillin. It's called in Chazal Poisha Yisrael Begufa. Kakafted Loi Monach Tefillin. And the question was, who is included into this? And the people that are most of the Klal Yisrael that weren't wearing tefillin then, are they included into this? So Rabbeinu Bahai speaks about this. It's brought down in Sefer Iter. He says, "Rabbeinu Bahai Poisha Yisrael Begufa Kakafted Loi Monach Tefillin." My Talmud, why is developed the Rabbanon, the Choshev Rabbanon, why are they mizalzel and not wearing tefillin? Not only that, that's question number one. Number two, those that do wear tefillin, is it considered a gaiva to wear tefillin? No one's wearing tefillin. My Rebbe is not wearing tefillin. Rosh Hashiva is not wearing tefillin. The Go'inim weren't wearing tefillin. Is it considered gaiva for me to put on tefillin? So Zokar ben Haigoin, Be'eretz Yisrael, the Nefisha Shemada, in Yisrael, which there was a lot of Shemad, he couldn't put on tefillin. It got forgotten. Can you imagine? There were Go'inim in times of Ben Hai, and he says the mitzvah got forgotten because of Gezeris. We learned earlier about the Sefer Torah that there was Gezeris then at that time. The Roman Empire was Gezeris, and so too do Gezeris on tefillin in Eretz Yisrael. He says B'Bavel have a zehir tuva. They were very much zor in it. And have a shricha the mizbah. So I'm actually not sure exactly what he's talking about. It could be that he's going back on times of the Gemara, but this is what he writes. This is why he's explaining why in his times, why did Rabbanan Amazal's on tefillin. So he seems to be saying that it all started from the minig in Eretz Yisrael, and it came over later to Bavel. Rabbeinu Mechai, so that's the Lashon Rabbeinu Hai going. Rabbeinu Mechai writes, Rabbeinu Mechai writes, yes, sure, Misrashal b'mitzvah tefillin. There are those that have Misrashal b'mitzvah tefillin. Right? She'ein l'zihira is b'nechasan. They're not zor in to put it on. Shechoshve, they think tefillin tzrich kedusha v'tahar yoseh midai. You need to be mamish heilig, mamish tefillin. Who could wear tefillin? Ach, you don't right to wear tefillin. So you got to be holy. We're not right to. We can't. We're not about the regular to be skadish matar kolkach. She room lanichan to be able to put it on. They're making toys, they're making a grace of chet. Shleip bekavana, not bekavana. El between the slave. It's coming from Elchkeit. Goes on. Valkain it's that shati a mitzvah as Yisrael gila b'Yisrael has to be rogel in Klal Yisrael. Shti mechzakas yodam. He says that Klal Yisrael was zor mitzvah of a miyom shigavri had tzoros from the day that the tzoros were in his gaber, and his daldul al-doiros and the doiros when fell down the gozer shmat and there were gozer shmat shakol mishini atzpon yifzu es moichoy. There should be they're gonna crack your head open. That's what the Gezeris was. The kings, we have no idea what that means. We have no idea, can't comprehend such a thing. Kings, anyone that puts on tefillin, they'll kill them. Hitzruchu is there for that day. Hitzruchu Yisrael the Srashul mitzvah ziri b'pneieskana. They had to be the Srashul because it was a sekana, sekanas movis. They weren't moshe nefesh in it. Al kain he merupa b'yudam hayem. That's why until today's days it's shrach. He goes on. He says the Moinam doesn't wear tefillin, and even the chashuv people are those that don't wear tefillin. Fine. So this is similar to the Gzeira from that we spoke about by Sefer Torah. But actually, what I find out interesting is I can't figure this out. It's very schwer to me. Now, the Gaonim wrote that the Klausel lost the technique of being ma'abed Torah, ma'abed l'shma, and it's possible. The Rambam writes that the same, you need to have be ma'abed b'afatz and tefillin also. You need to have the same ibud for Sefer Torah as for tefillin. So the question, my understanding is that why in this discussion, as we'll see a little bit more soon, about not wearing tefillin, it's not mentioned at all that the tefillin were anyways possible because they didn't know how to be ma'abed the tefillin, how to make ibud. That's why the Sefer Torah were apostle. It's clear, as we spoke about. So if the Sefer Torah were apostle because the word the way it was supposed to be moved, so too the tefillin should be apostle, and all the mezuzahs should have been apostle, all the stam should have been apostle because they didn't know how to be ma'abed. Maybe you could say there were certain leftover tefillins from earlier generations. Yeah, but Klal Yisrael, there's new generations. If people get a mitzvah, you need more tefillin. There's definitely new tefillin, and people definitely would be misrashal because the tefillin, even if they would put it on, it would be possible. So I don't know why this topic is not mentioned at all. B'negei ibud, b'negei tefillin, unless you say that tefillin has a different halacha. It doesn't need to have the ibud of the Sefer Torah. But wouldn't pass like that. The Rambam doesn't write like that. The Shulchan Aruch doesn't write like that. It might be such shit in the Rishonim and the Gaonim like that, but it's not mentioned, which is another Tmur Ma'od. This is the Metzias. They did not wear tefillin. They did not wear tefillin because the Gezeres are shmadas. We have another truth from the Gaonim. They write, we have Talmidim Chachamim, everyone, it was a whole topic, Mismedish. Let's put it till, shh. They had to hide it behind the desk, I don't know, and everyone used to call the Chachamim. They would call the Chachamim, the Gingalite, that the Bakram that tried to do what the Rebbe's didn't do. And the Goyim are speaking about this. Right? Talmidim, the Chachamim, we have Talmidim, they want to put on tefillin, Shechaveitzin, a little bit tefillin, Kivim l'roi b'Yisrael l'kavon. Because Klal Yisrael don't put on tefillin, they want to put on tefillin, and they're scared. They shouldn't be considered a big shot. Oh, who are you to put on? The shit of the Klal Yisrael, they're not wearing tefillin. It's a avera. Everyone's moeded. He mitzvah, and it's a mitzvah. Less by Yehuda. There's no Yehuda. This that the Amud Olam, the Gedolei Yisrael didn't do, but in those years, dare to put on tefillin. They mean the Olam was terrified to put on tefillin, even though it started machas rashlis and shmodas, and the Gedolei Yisrael didn't wear tefillin because of that, and the minig was nimshach. Now the Bahramlach and the Ingelite who are fired, and they can't hold themselves back when they put on tefillin. The Olam's terrified. Should I not? This is it's actually very relevant for many different things in today's generation. So people want to feel that they have the opportunity to make things better, but Gedolei Yisrael didn't do it. But Lamaisa didn't have the opportunity to do it. Many different topics like this, and that was going on in times of the Gaonim. The whole discussion from Rabbi Yosef going, another truth is Gaonim, that a certain person, if he's allowed to wear tefillin and Kriya Shema, or maybe Oishema Emanich tefillin El Gaver Rabba, maybe only big people put on tefillin. In the Eter also writes of this: there's not one person in the whole Kahila that wears tefillin. And he goes on and he writes, except for some of the stomach problems. And the same thing, the Shari going brought down in the Shboi Leket. Why is most of the world mizalzin putting a tefillin? Brings out Rutzim. And he says that it comes from the Gezeirah, Shas Gezeirah, Yesh Mekayim Shel Talmidim Manichin Tefillin. There are places we find the Talmidim put on tefillin. Question is if it's Yuhara, Shabbat, the same Shaila. And the Marik in Simon Kofang Dal brings out from Tesis Ben Yehudim at Paris, the Rebbe from the Smag. Tamer, Amai Samchi Oilam Shloi Nahagil Nirtzvun. Why was the Welt Samech not to put on tefillin? We're going again. Yehudim at Paris is in the year 1166 to 1224. We're talking about from the times of the Gaonim, the Pshaya Goin, which was 906, the year 906, and it started way before, already, probably 100 years before or more. We're talking about from the year 800 until now. We're holding it by Yehudim at Paris, who's in the year 1200. So he writes, why was the Olam Samech not to wear tefillin? When you say on the opposite, he says what do we say on? The opposite, it says that the tax of tefillin is they should have Torah in your mouth. And the opposite makes it rash, and whoever learns Torah is as if he's Meniach Tefillin. And he writes, this is what Olam Samechan Oni, this is what we're Samechan. Obviously, we understand that this is tremendous, this is not even a b'diavad, but it's a limit schus, that if you're learning Tefillin Torah, the whole task the Tefillin is you should learn Torah, so if you were learning, then you're already kind of mitzvah from Tefillin. And the Smag writes, in the beginning of the Smag, this is his Talmud Yehudim at Paris, the Helig Smag, Sefer HaMitzvahs, he writes, he says in the year, fourth, we're holding the year Hayalofim, 5,000, Tafshin Pevov, 786. He's saying it was in the year of 4,995, 4,995, like 800 years ago. There was a sibba from Shemayim. Again, we're going over here in the mid 1200s. There was a sibba from Shemayim. He's saying that Hashem gave to the adult. In that year, I was in Svard. He's besvard lechicham to mechidam. V'imitz HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I went around. The Smag. We spoke about this. Smag went around darshanim mechazek doilam. In his time, there was a gezerah of tzreifus kisvei hakodesh, and they didn't have any svarim to learn. That's when the whole tkufa from Taisis over there stopped, and they left, and all the yeshivas closed down, and the Smag started going around. V'imitz HaKadosh Baruch Hu zerayosai, and Hashem gave me strength in my arms. Means to say Hashem strengthened him. What did he do? People, the whole people all around, he writes that people started having terrifying dreams, and the Yidden and the Goyim, and they saw things in the stars. It was unbelievable, and they all got terrified. And Hashem put on me chesed, and the world and the land, it was nisragas, the lashon that it was terrified. There was a tremendous year of Shemayim came on people, and they made a lot of tshuva, because I went around during this time of, I guess it was earthquakes, I don't know what in the world, and different dreams and things like that. And people wanted to do tshuva, thousands of people would makabel themselves, and tens of thousands of people would makabel themselves. Mitzvahs tefillin, the mitzvah of tefillin, mezuzahs, the mitzvah of mezuzah, the tzitzis, and the mitzvah of tzitzis. This was in Sfard, and the same thing in all other lands. And all the places where I came, my word was in Skabel. And they asked me to write the Pirish and the Mitzvahs in Mekitzir, and they wanted to do tshuva, and this is the reason why he wrote this Sefer Smag. After that, in the times of the Ritva lived in between 1250 and 1320. He says, "Yesh kama b'nei adam shemitzvah tefillin refuya b'yadam." There's people that we find that they're not making kind of mitzvah tefillin, and like we said over from the Bnei Bechai. Also in that kufa, how the mitzvah and tefillin, shtoyim habib b'nei Adam, hamoy Yisrael k'tzas ma'yodim, and they're not wearing tefillin. And the Rashba says the mutam shel Yisrael menichet tefillin. Only a little amount of people wear tefillin. And the Meiri brings down the minik chachamim shenoyagin lanifam b'mei yom shebein Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That the chachamim that the minik was to wear tefillin between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. You don't need paspalter in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Some people wear yoyim lanifam yom shebein Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Tshuva, tefillah, v'avaduyim. This is a good minig, unbelievable. The minig, the Meiri is being Meshabeach, the minig of Chachamim to wear tefillin only between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, after tshuva, after tefillah, and after the vidiyim, then to wear tefillin. It was mamish like a Hazach. Taisus Masech the Shabbos Daf Mem Tesem with Aleph. The Ein Taima. There's no. It's not a wonder. Ama Shemitzah Zayis Rafuya B'Deinu. Why mitzvah tefillin is shvach in our hands. Shekam B'Mechacham Zayis Rafuya. Even times of Chazal, it was Rafuya. Brings down the Chazal more in Pirkei Belezer. And the Beis Yosef brings down in Ebenezer from on what the Torah says. The meaning is to put for the chassan would put ashes in the place of tefillin. So Beis Yosef and the Kolboy that many people don't do that. The chassan doesn't put ashes in the place of tefillin. Why? Because they don't put on tefillin there, so it doesn't pass to say put ashes in the place of tefillin. Because there's no tefillin. They're not being kind of tefillin. Unbelievable. That's how far it went. That because they didn't wear tefillin, they didn't put ashes there. And Bez Hashem, as we'll see, so that was this Hisrashlos for a few hundreds of years. Chasrón didn't wear tefillin. Later on, they started wearing tefillin. Slowly but surely, it became espashet. But what type of tefillin were they wearing? What type of stams? They had sefer Torah. They had mezuzahs. They had tefillin. What was it? Was it kosher tefillin? Was it kosher sefer Torah? What they started, they had the yichus of being ma'abedet. They had the heter for bein etam. They had the heter to wear tefillin. What happened from then on, for the next few hundred years, as Hashem will see?